There is a force in your mind that stops you even when you know exactly what to do. It's not laziness. It's not lack of discipline. It's something deeper, a hidden resistance inside the brain. And the strange part is it doesn't feel like resistance when it happens. You only notice it later, when time has already passed, and nothing was done. And once you understand it, you will never see it the same way again. You know exactly what you need to do. You've known it for hours, days, sometimes even weeks. And yet somehow you still don't move. It's not that you don't understand. It's that understanding alone is not enough to create action. You are disciplined. You have good habits, but there is still a voice in your head. A voice, quiet, automatic. Do it later. There is time. I don't feel like it. And in that moment, it doesn't feel like a decision, it feels like truth, almost harmless. This is something almost everyone experiences. We call it procrastination. But what if procrastination is not the problem, but the symptom of something deeper? Because if you look closer, you are not fighting laziness. You are not fighting lack of knowledge. You are fighting a cost that appears the moment you try to act. Not in the future, not in imagination, but right now, in the moment you need to act, there is effort. There is discomfort. There is uncertainty, sometimes even boredom, and the mind reacts to that. And in that moment, your decision is already being influenced before you even realize it. The goal may be important. The reward may be valuable. You might even fully understand it. But when it is time to act, everything changes. Not by questioning the goal, but by delaying the action. So with all of this said, procrastination is simply the brain choosing immediate comfort over delayed reward when a task feels costly in the moment. The cost is what we often call mental blocks, and each one feels small on its own, but together, they become a wall. These are feelings your brain tries to avoid before you even start. The first is mental effort. Starting something is never just starting. It is switching states, thinking, focusing, deciding, figuring out where to begin. And before you even begin, your brain already predicts the energy it will take, so it delays. Not because it cannot do it, but because starting feels heavier than staying still. This is why even small tasks can feel heavy at the beginning. Then comes uncertainty. This one is quieter, more subtle. Uncertainty is not only when you don't know anything. It can also exist even when you kind of know where to start. Because the real issue is not knowledge. It's confidence in the path ahead. Even if you know the first step, your brain still asks, is this the right first step? What comes after this? Am I doing this the efficient way? So the resistance doesn't come from total confusion, but from too many possible directions after the first step. That creates hesitation. Then there is emotional discomfort. Emotional discomfort is the feeling that shows up before you even start, when the task doesn't feel pleasant in the moment. This is the feeling most people try to ignore. It's not logical, it's physical. A sense of resistance in your body. Boredom, stress, frustration. And the message is simple. I don't want to be here right now. So the brain does something simple. It tries to avoid the feeling, not the task itself. That's why even important work gets delayed. Not because it has no value, but because the present moment feels slightly uncomfortable. Fear of failure or judgment. This is the quiet question in the background. What if I do it badly? Even before starting, the brain imagines the outcome and attaches meaning to it. If I fail, it means I'm not good enough. If this turns out bad, others might judge me. If I try and fail, it becomes real. So instead of risking that outcome, the brain chooses delay. Because delay protects you from a possible negative result. Procrastination becomes a way to avoid facing a result you're not ready to see yet. And the longer you delay, the longer you avoid that possible judgment, even if it never actually happens. Even that risk was never as dangerous as it felt. So, knowing all of this, and most of us have already experienced it, the question becomes, how do we deal with it? There is no single cure that removes procrastination completely. It will still appear. The resistance will still show up. And that is the important part. Procrastination is not something you eliminate. It is something you learn to move through. This is where good habits come in. Habits reduce the need to decide. They remove the constant negotiation in your mind. They turn action into something automatic, something you return to without thinking. And when habits are not enough, discipline takes over. Discipline is simply the ability to act even when resistance is there. So when resistance shows up, don't fight it with motivation. Resistance doesn't disappear through thinking. It disappears through movement. Make the next step so small that it becomes easier to start than to avoid. Open the file. Write the first line. Do one small action. The mind follows action, not the other way around. The cure for procrastination is action. Your thoughts and feelings may influence you, but they don't have to determine your actions. Do what needs to be done.